Welcome to the Madison Miller Podcast. Today is Monday, February 27th, 2023. Today we'll be recapping a busy weekend: NBA, NHL, college basketball, MLB spring training, soccer, golf, NASCAR, idle news, notes, best bet. We'll get to everything tonight as well. NBA is where we'll kick off the podcast today. We'll go over the weekend's games and look ahead to a small window for tonight. Friday, Knicks over the Wiz, 115-109. Hawks over the Cavs, 136-119. Bucks over the Heat, 128-99. Hornets over the T-Wolves, 121-113. Bulls over the Nets, 131-87. Suns over the Thunder, 121-115. Warriors over the Rockets, 116-101. And the Kings over the Clippers, 176-175 in double overtime, in one of the higher scoring games you'll ever see. Saturday, Raptors over the Pistons, 95-91. Hornets over the Heat, 108-103. Pacers over the Magic, 121-108. Knicks over the Pelicans, 128-106. Grizzlies over the Nuggets, 112-94. Celtics over the Sixers, 110-107. And what's up there for Game of the Year? Jason Tatum, game-winning three with 1.3 seconds left. And then Joel Embiid from like 75 feet, but it didn't count. And had Mike Breen losing his mind. Jazz over the Spurs, 118-102. And then Sunday, Bucks over the Suns, 104-101 for their 14th straight win. Hawks over the Nets, 129-127 on a buzzer beater 3 by Trae Young. Bulls over the Wiz, 102-82. Lakers come back from 27 down to beat the Mavs, 111-108. Cavs over the Raptors, 118-93. Kings over the Thunder, 124-115. Warriors over the T-Wolves, 109-104. Blazers over the Rockets, 131-114. And the Nuggets over the Clippers, 134-124 in overtime. All right, 4 games tonight. 7 o'clock, you have the Pistons and the Hornets. My projection is Hornets 5.25, total 231 and 3/20. And we got here 6.5 and 235. I'll take the under. NBA TV Heat Sixers. You could argue this is game of the night. There's another nominee, which I'll reveal later. Or next, I should say. I project Sixers by 7, total 220 and 13/20. And it's 5.5 and 217. I'll take the over. And this could be the game of the night. 7:30, Celtics Knicks. No Jaylen Brown tonight. My projection is Knicks by 2 3/4, total 228 and 3/5. And Boston's a 2-point favorite, total is 223. So the question is over or New York? The over is going to be the pick. I want to take New York plus 2 and plus 108, but the edge is larger on the over. But the Knicks getting 2 at home without Jaylen Brown might be too good to be true. So therefore over. And last but not least, 8 o'clock, Magic Pelicans. Pelicans 1.5, total 226.5, and it's 4 and 226.5. Give me the Magic plus the 4. They're plus 138 to win outright. So if there's a dog to win outright other than the Knicks, potentially it's Orlando. And the Pistons maybe, but obviously no Cade the whole year and no Jalen Duren. All right, now move on to hockey. We'll go over the results from the weekend and look at the slate for tonight, which I expect to be pretty big. Friday, Canes over the Sens 4-0. Sabres over the Panthers 3-1. Canadians over the Flyers 5-2. Leafs over the Wild 2-1 OT. Kings over the Isles 3-2. Avs over the Jets 5-1. Saturday, Blue Jackets over the Oilers 6-5. Caps over the Rangers 6-3. Pens over the Blues 3-2 in OT. Ducks over the Canes 3-2. Sens over the Habs 5-2. Devils over the Flyers 7-0 on a game where they honored their 2003 Stanley Cup champion team. Bruins over the Canucks 3-1. Lightning over the Red Wings 3-0. Avs over the Flames 4-1. Blackhawks over the Sharks 4-3 shootout. Stars over the Golden Knights 3-2 shootout. And yesterday, Sabres over the Capitals 7-4. Wild over the Blue Jackets 3-2 in OT. Rangers over the Kings 5-2. Isles over the Jets 4-0. Pens over the Lightning 7-3. Preds over the Coyotes 6-2. And the Leafs over the Kraken 5-1. No, only 5 games tonight. I was wrong. 7 o'clock, you have the Red Wings and the Senators. The Senators are minus 137. The Red Wings are plus 114. Over under 6.5. Overs minus 108. Unders minus 112. Red Wings plus 1.5 is minus 210. Sens minus 1.5 is plus 172. Wrong team's favored. Red Wings are playing well. Give me Detroit plus 114. 8:30 Canucks Stars. Stars minus 285. Canucks plus 230. Over under 6. Overs minus 115. Unders minus 106. Canucks plus 1.5 is minus 110. Same for Dallas minus 1.5. That's a tough one, but I like the over. Bruins Oilers NHL Network game of the night. You can make a case. There's another one too, which I'll get to. Bruins minus 137. Edmonton plus 114. Over under 6.5. Overs minus 112. Unders minus 108. Bruins minus 1.5 is plus 172. Oilers plus 1.5 is minus 215. I like the over for sure. Golden Knights Avs. Avs minus 144. Vegas plus 120. Over under 6. Overs minus 106. Unders minus 114. Vegas plus 1.5 is minus 220. Avs minus 1.5 is plus 176. This could also qualify for game of the night. I'm going to go with the underdog Vegas at plus 120. And 10 o'clock, Blackhawks Ducks. Ducks minus 140. Blackhawks plus 116. Over under 6.5. Overs plus 102. Unders minus 124. Blackhawks plus 1.5 is minus 20. Ducks minus 1.5 is plus 176. I like the over in this game too. All right, college basketball, what I'm going to do is just going to go over the notable results from the weekend, and I will go ahead and look at the slate for tonight, including some conference tournaments getting underway. Actually, no, it's just one. It's just the Atlantic Sun starting tonight. All right, so notable results for Friday in college basketball. Number 16, Xavier over Seton Hall, 82-60. VCU over Richmond, 73-58. Old Dominion over Marshall, 71-67. Georgia Southern over App State, 73-64. Liberty over Queens, 73-53. Southern Miss over Texas State, 79-69. James Madison over Georgia State, 90-69. Kennesaw State over Central Arkansas, 72-56. Colorado State over Wyoming, 84-71. Louisiana over South Alabama, 74-64. UNLV over Air Force, 54-53. Nevada over Fresno State, 60-56. Notable results from Saturday. Number 18, UConn over St. John's, 95-86. Villanova over number 19, Creighton, 79-67. Oklahoma over number 23, Iowa State, 61-50. Number 24, TCU over Texas Tech, 83-82. Clemson over NC State, 96-71. Iowa over Michigan State, 112-106 in overtime in a game where Michigan State was up by double digits with 1:30 to go. Charleston over Stony Brook, 92-52. Missouri over Georgia, 85-63. Number 2, Alabama over Arkansas, 86-83. Arizona State upsets number 7, Arizona, 89-88 on a buzzer beater heave by Desmond Cambridge. Number 9, Baylor over number 8, Texas, 81-72. Number 14, Kansas State over Oklahoma State, 73-68. Georgia Tech over Louisville, 83-67. Princeton over Harvard, 58-56. Toledo over Buffalo, 101-71. Hofstra over Northeastern, 84-52. Fordham over Rhode Island, 74-71. Oral Roberts over South Dakota State, 69-65. Mississippi State over number 25, Texas A&M, 69-62. Nebraska over Minnesota, 78-67. Number 3, Kansas over West Virginia, 76-74. That was a close one. West Virginia could have won that game and literally solidified itself as an at-large. Florida State over number 13, Miami, 85-84. Vermont over Bryant, 70-66. Colgate over Navy, 64-60. Kentucky over Auburn, 86-54. Let's see here. Wazoo over Cal, 63-57. Kent State over Bowling Green, 69-59. I'm sorry, 79-69. Read that wrong. Pitt over Syracuse, 99-82. North Carolina upsets number 6 Virginia, 71-63. Was it really an upset? No, North Carolina was favored. Vegas knew. So that's not an upset. Never mind. Number 11, Tennessee over South Carolina, 85-45. Vandy over Florida, 88-72. St. Louis over Loyola Chicago, 81-62. George Washington over LaSalle, 92-85. George Mason over Dayton, 74-69. South Florida over SMU, 71-67. Wake over Notre Dame, 66-58. San Jose State over Boise State, 74-68 in overtime. Number 10, Marquette over DePaul, 90-84. Number 17, Indiana over number 5, Purdue, 79-71. Number 1, Houston over East Carolina, 76-57. USC over Utah, 62-49. Duke over Virginia Tech, 81-65. UAB over Western Kentucky, 72-60. Eastern Washington loses at Idaho State, 71-63. So they don't close undefeated in that conference. Ole Miss over LSU, 82-69. Number 12, Gonzaga over number 15, St. Mary's, 77-68. Number 22, San Diego State over New Mexico, 73-71. Oregon over Oregon State, 69-67. Santa Clara over San Diego, 81-63. BYU over San Fran, 87-61. And Loyola Marymount over Pepperdine, 75-67. Notable results from yesterday. Maryland over number 21, Northwestern, 75-59. Ohio State over Illinois, 72-60. St. Bonaventure over St. Joe's, 89-76. Number 20, Providence over Georgetown, 88-69. Belmont over Northern Iowa, 83-75. Memphis over Cincinnati, 76-73. Michigan over Wisconsin, 87-79 in overtime. Davidson over Duquesne, 71-67. Wichita over Tulane, 83-76. Number 4, UCLA over Colorado, 60-56. Bradley over Drake, 73-61. UCF over Tulsa, 68-49. Stanford over Washington, 81-69. Rutgers over Penn State, 59-56. All right, tonight's games kicks it off. 7 o'clock, ASUN first round, Florida Gulf Coast and Queens. Projection, Gulf Coast by 3 total, 146 9/10. I gave out Gulf Coast on the podcast on Saturday when I did the Saturday ASUN show. And it is Queens 2.5, total 153.5. So the question is, do I go with the under? Do I go with the underdog in Gulf Coast? So it's about a 6.5 point edge on the under, and like a 5.5 point edge on Gulf Coast. So I'm going to take under 153.5. Next up, Bellarmine at North Florida. I project North Florida 5.3, total 143 and a fifth, and it's 4.5 and 141.5. So my pick here is going to be the slight over. All right, 7 o'clock, ESPN, North Carolina, Florida State. This better not be a letdown for the Tar Heels, or else they don't deserve to be anywhere near the NCAA tournament. I project them as a 6-point favorite, total 147 and 3/4, and it's 7.5 and 151.5. I'll take the under gladly. Howard, SC State, 7:30. My line is Howard 12, total 152 and 3/10. And it's 4.5 and 154.5. I'll gladly lay the points with Howard. Southern and Florida A&M. My line is Southern 4.2, total 136 and a 20th, and it's 7.5 and 133.5. So for here, I have a 3.3 edge on Florida A&M and about 2.5 on the over. So I'm going to take Florida A&M getting the 7.5 at home. Morgan State and Maryland Eastern Shore. My line's UMass 3.3, total 141 and a fifth. And it's 8.5 and 140.5. That's a lot. Give me Morgan State getting the 8.5. Grambling Bethune. My line is Grambling 5.3, total 137 and 7/20. And we got 7.5 and 137.5. I'm going to take Bethune getting the points. Coppin State, Delaware State. My line's Delaware State 1.7, total 147 and 11/20. And it's 3.5 and 147.5. So I'm going to go slightly into Coppin State. Norfolk and NC Central. My line is Norfolk by 1, total 141, 11/20. And it's NC Central 2.5, total 140.5. Give me Norfolk plus the 2.5 and plus 108 to win. 8 o'clock, Texas Southern, Alcorn State. My line is Alcorn 7.7, total 139 and 9/10. And we got here 3.5 and 138.5. I'm going to lay the points at Alcorn. Weber State, Northern Arizona. My line's Weber 7.7, total 139 and 3/5. And it's 1.5 and 135.5. That's low. I'm laying it with Weber State. Idaho State, Northern Colorado. My line's Northern 8.7, total 144 and 19/20. And it's 4.5 and 147.5. I'm going to take Northern minus the points. Prairie View A&M and Jackson State. My line is Jackson 1.5, total 139 to 20th, and it's pretty much a pick 'em, a half, and 137.5. So the half goes to Jackson State. So for here, we'll go slight over. Number 9, Baylor at Oklahoma State on ESPN. My line's Baylor 3.3, total 142 and a 20th. And it's 1.5 and 141.5. I'm going to go slightly in the Baylor. ESPN 2, West Virginia, number 23, Iowa State. My line's Iowa State 4.5, total 138 and 4/5. And it's 3.5 and 134.5 over. Nevada, Wyoming, CBS Sports Network. My line's Nevada by 3, total 139, and it is 5.5 and 138.5. I'm going to take Wyoming getting the points. Montana, Idaho. My line's Montana 9.8, total 140 and 9/10. And it's 5.5 and 138.5. I'm going to lay the points with Montana. Montana State, Eastern Washington. My line's Eastern 0.3, total 141 and 3/5. And it's 1.5 and 144.5. I'm going to take the under. And last but not least, Sacramento State and Portland State at 10 o'clock. Mine's Portland State 1.8 to 143 and a 5th. And it's 2.5 and 141.5. 0.7 edge on Sac State and higher than that on the over. So the pick here is going to be the over. All right, Major League Baseball spring training. We'll go over the results from the weekend and look ahead to games for today. I'm not going to do gambling for spring training most of the time. Sometimes if I have time to do it, I will. So Friday, Royals over the Rangers 6-5 and Mariners over the Padres 3-2. Saturday, Phils over the Yankees 7-4. Braves Red Sox 6-6 tie. This ended on bases loaded, 3-2 count, 2 outs. Because the batter didn't go in using the pitch clock. Orioles over the Twins, 7-5. Astros over the Mets, 4-2. Twins over the Rays, 8-4. Blue Jays over the Pirates, 9-7. Nats over the Cardinals, 3-2. Tigers over the Phils, 4-2. A's over the D-backs, 12-7. Reds over the Guardians, 4-3. Royals over the Rangers, 10-5. Padres over the White Sox, 6-2. Cubs over the Giants, 10-8. Angels over the Mariners, 5-1. Rockies over the D-backs, 12-5. Brewers over the Dodgers, 7-4. And the Mets over the Marlins, 5-2. Sunday, Yankees over the Braves 7-0 and Yankees over the Blue Jays 9-5. Astros lose to the Nationals 3-2. Red Sox over the Rays 7-6. Orioles over the Tigers 10-6. Phillies over the Twins 10-8. Cards over the Marlins 8-2. Mets over the Nats 6-3. Dodgers over the Cubs 9-4. Giants over the Reds 7-6. Royals over the Mariners 8-7. Rangers over the Guardians 13-4. Rockies over the Brewers 12-6. Angels over the White Sox 7-0. A's over the Brewers 11-4. And the Padres over the D-backs 18-6. So overs in spring training games look like the way to go right now. Monday. So today, 1 o'clock, ESPN, Mets, Cardinals. You have Marlins, Astros, Twins, Red Sox, Phillies, Pirates, Rays, Orioles, Blue Jays, Braves, 3 o'clock, Guardians, Cubs, Rockies, A's, Brewers, Royals, Mariners, White Sox, Rangers, Reds, Cubs, Diamondbacks, Giants, Angels, Dodgers, Padres, and at 6:30 you have the Tigers and the Yankees from George M. Steinbrenner Field. All right, now move on to soccer. We'll start the MLS, and then we'll work our way around soccer. So Saturday, Nashville over NYCFC 2-0, Atlanta over San Jose 2-1, New England over Charlotte 1-0, DC United over Toronto 3-2, Cincinnati over Houston 2-1, Miami over CF Montreal 2-0, Orlando over the Red Bulls 1-0, Philadelphia over Columbus 4-1, St. Louis over Austin 3-2, Minnesota over Dallas 1-0, and Salt Lake over Vancouver 2-1. All right, and last night, Seattle over Colorado 4-0. All right, now, tonight, 10 o'clock, you have Portland and Kansas City. Portland's minus 120, Sporting KC's plus 230, draw plus 260. For this one, I know Sporting KC got a lot of hype this season, but Portland's home. I like Portland at home at minus 110. All right, La Liga, Spanish La Liga from the weekend. Betis over Elche 3-2 Friday. Saturday, Espanyol over Mallorca 2-1. Cadiz over Rayo 1-0. Real Madrid Atletico 1-1 draw. And Valencia over Real Sociedad 1-0. And then yesterday, Girona over Athletic 3-2. Celta Vigo over Valladolid 3-0. Almeria over Barcelona 1-0. And Osasuna over Sevilla 3-2. All right, 3 o'clock, you have Villarreal and Getafe. We are going to pull up the odds here in a second. Villarreal's minus 165. Getafe's 5-1. Draws plus 250. I'll go with the draw at plus 250. I think there's real value there. English League Championship Saturday. Coventry over Sunderland 2-1. Luton over Birmingham 1-0. Bristol City over Hull 1-0. Burnley over Huddersfield 4-0. Norwich City over Cardiff 2-0. Preston over Wigan 2-1. Blackburn over QPR 3-1. Reading over Blackpool 3-1. Sheffield United over Watford 1-0. Millwall over Stoke 1-0. And West Brom over Borough 2-0. And at 3 o'clock today, you have Swansea and Rotherham. Swansea's minus 10, Rotherham's plus 550, draw plus 320. For this one, I'm going to go with over 2.5 goals at minus 118. Italian Serie A, Saturday results. Napoli over Empoli, 2-0. Sassuolo over Lecce, 1-0. Sunday, Bologna over Inter Milan, 1-0. Salernitana over Monza, 3-0. Udinese, Spezia, 2-2 draw. Milan over Atalanta, 2-0. 2 games today, 12:30 at Verona and Fiorentina. Fiorentina plus 110, Verona plus 260, draw plus 220. Verona is one of the worst teams in this league. So is Fiorentina. So I like the draw here at plus 220. 245 Lazio and Sampdoria. Lazio minus 270. Sampdoria 7-1 draw plus 330. Meanwhile, Lazio is one of the better teams. And Sampdoria is not. I'm going to go over 2.5 goals at minus 108 for this one. Mexican Liga, Friday. Necaxa Querétaro 1-1 draw. UNAM over Mazatlan 2-1. Saturday, Cruz Azul over Juarez 1-0. Guadalajara over Tigres 2-1. Atlas America 2-2 draw. And then Sunday, Toluca over Athletic San Luis 2-0. Santos over Puebla 3-2. And Tijuana over Pachuca 2-0. One game tonight, Leon and Monterrey. Monterrey's been red hot. And I mean red hot. Leon's plus 140. Monterrey's plus 165. Draw plus 250. I'm going with Monterrey. They've been on fire. Plus 165 on the road. They're going to win again. All right, weekend results. More of them. English Premier League Friday, Fulham and Wolves 1-1 draw. Saturday, Aston Villa over Everton 2-0. Leeds over Southampton 1-0. Arsenal over Leicester 1-0. West Ham over Nottingham Forest 4-0. Man City over Bournemouth 4-1. Crystal Palace Liverpool 0-0 draw. Newcastle Brighton postponed. Sunday, Tottenham over Chelsea 2-0. German Bundesliga Friday, Mainz over Gladbach 4-0. Saturday, Wolfsburg over Cologne 2-0. Hertha over Augsburg 2-0. RB Leipzig over Frankfurt 2-1. Dortmund over Hoffenheim 1-0. Bremen over Bochum 3-0. And Schalke over Stuttgart 2-1. French League 1 from the weekend, Friday, Lille over Brest 2-1. Saturday, Lyon over Angers 3-1. And Montpellier Lens 1-1 draw. Sunday, Auxerre over Lorient 1-0. AC Ajaccio over Troyes 2-1. Clermont Foot Strasbourg 1-1 draw. Rennes over Nantes 1-0. Reims over Toulouse 3-0. Nice over Monaco 3-0. And PSG over Marseille 3-0. I'm just seeing if there any more soccer to go over. Oh, tomorrow we have, or no, it's not tomorrow. That's next Tuesday. We have the CONCACAF Champions League, which is, you're going to have a lot of different legs and such. You have literally the Philadelphia Union playing Alianza FC of the Salvadoran Prima Division. So matchups like that, and Tigres in Orlando. So that's going to be a fun thing to cover come next week. And then the English Carabao Cup, Man United over Newcastle 2-0. So that's pretty much it for soccer for today. Now move on to golf. We'll go over the results from the Honda Classic. Your winner for this event with a score of 14 under and a playoff score of 4, Chris Kirk. Second, 14 under with a playoff score of 5, Eric Cole. Third, 12 under, Tyler Duncan. Fourth, 10 under, Ryan Gerard. Tied for fifth, 9 under, Ben Taylor, Seb Straka, Shane Lowry, Ben Martin, and Justin Sue. Tied for 10th with 8 under, Dylan Lingworth and Dylan Wu. Tied for 12th with 7 under, Cam Piercy, Zach Johnson. Tied for 14th with 6 under, Joaquin Herman, Kramer Heacock, Adrian Murnock, Lee Hodges, Stefan Yeager, Brandon Wu, and Ryan Brem. Tied for 21st with 5 under, Ben Griffin, Jonathan Vegas, Robbie Shelton, MJ Daffey, and Byung-Hun An. Tied for 26th with 4 under, Harrison Endicott, Scott Harrington, and Minwoo Lee. Tied for 29th with 3 under, Davis Riley, Dylan Fratelli, Aaron Weiss, Grayson Higo, Jason Hadley, Kevin Chappell, Andrew Novak, Matt Wallace, Danny Willett, Brett Druitt, William McGirt, Cam Young, and Kevin Roy. Tied for 42nd with 2 under, Brett Horschel, Will Gordon, Mark Hubbard, Adam Schenk, Sunjay Im, Kristen Ziedenhout, Taylor Pendrith. Tied for 49th with 1 under, Zach Blair, Adam Svebson, Jimmy Walker, Eric Barnes, Trevor Werblow, and Akshay Bhatia. Now I'm just going to do notables. Tied for 55th at even, Bryce Garnett, Joseph Brumlett, Brandon Matthews, Istanlizo Goya, and Kelly Kraft. Tied for 60th at 1 over, Kyle Stanley, Matthias Schwab. Tied for 63rd with 2 over, JT Potts and Kevin Tway, Ryan Moore, Victor Norman. Tied for 71st with 3 over, Augusto Nunez. Tied for 74th with 4 over, JB Holmes. No, JB Holmes is in the 71st tie. 74th tie, 4 over, Webb Simpson. Jason Duffner. 78th with 6 over, Tyson Alexander. And among those cut, Chad Ramey, Charlie Hoffman, Hank Lebioda, Peter Malnati, Cam Davis, who was my pick, Ben Crane, Grayson Sieg, Michael Gilgick, Sudi Kutiara, Doc Redmond, Scott Stevens, Nate Hardy, Matt Kuchar, Harry English, Henrik Norlander, Ryan Palmer, Grayson Chalmers, Brandon Gay, Aaron Ray, Brian Stewart, Lucas Donald, Callum Tarrant, Russell Knox, Max McGreevy, Richie Wierenski, Harry Higgs, Evan Van Royen, and withdrawing from the competition, Thomas Dietrich and Brent Grant. Coming up is the Arnold Palmer Invitational from Bay Hill Golf Course. And that is in Florida, in Orlando suburb. So we'll get into the Arnold Palmer Invitational and make a pick on the Wednesday podcast. All right, now we'll go over the NASCAR race results from yesterday. The Xfinity race got rained out, so they had the race in prime time last night after Cup. So we'll start with the Cup race. Your winner, Kyle Busch. Coming in second is Chase Elliott. Third, Ross Chastain. Fourth, Daniel Suarez. Fifth, Kevin Harvick. Sixth, Denny Hamlin. Seventh, Brad Keselowski. Eighth, Alex Bowman. Ninth, Austin Dillon. 10th, Joey Logano. The rest, Martin Truex Jr., Ricky Stenhouse Jr., Chris Buescher, Corey LaJoie, Harrison Burton, Ty Gibbs, Todd Gilliland, Michael McDowell, Eric Jones, Chase Briscoe, Justin Haley, Noah Gragson, J.J. Yealy, B.J. McLeod, William Byron, Ryan Blaney, Cody Ware, Austin Cindric, Kyle Larson, Bubba Wallace, Ty Dillon, Chris Bell, Ryan Preece, Tyler Riddick, Eric Almirola, A.J. Allmendinger. All right, and then the results from the Production Alliance Group 300. Your winner, John Hunter Nemechek, coming in second with Sam Meyer. Third, Justin Allgaier. Fourth, Cam Smith. Fifth, Josh Berry. Sixth, Austin Hill. Seventh, Riley Herbst, who was my pick. Eighth, Austin Dillon. Ninth, Brett Moffitt. 10th, Parker Kligerman. The rest, Joe Graff Jr., Daniel Hemrick, Kaz Gralla, Ryan Sieg, Kyle Sieg, Josh Williams, Anthony Alfredo, Jeremy Clements, Sammy Smith, Parker Retzlaff, Raja Caruth, Jeb Burton, Sheldon Krieg, Ross Chastain, Brennan Poole, Jeffrey Earnhardt, Cole Custer, Alex Labb, Joey Gase, Bailey Curry, Blaine Perkins, Timmy Hill, Brandon Jones, Ryan Ellis, David Starr, Tyler Riddick, CJ McLaughlin, and Greg Galding. All right, next weekend, Vegas. Xfinity race will be Saturday, 4:30. Cup will be Sunday, 3:30. And the truck will be Friday night at 9. So Friday's podcast will be 3 NASCAR picks. All right, now we'll recap last night's episode of American Idol. It was a good one. It was I think one of my favorite audition episodes ever. First up is a young girl, Caroline Cole, 25 years old, from Nashville, performing Firework by Katy Perry. She got 3 S's in the Hollywood. Second up, John Wade Hatfield, 21 years old, from Goshen, Ohio, performing Tell Me Ray, which was an original. Great story about him. Raised by his grandparents. Grandmother died. So he had a great relationship with his grandfather. They're very close. And then the grandfather really went in a dark spot in his life. And then, like a year and a half after the passing of his wife of 50 years, Ray, which was the grandfather's name, he came with John to the audition, came out as gay, which was a plot twist in the story that I wasn't expecting, but considering that he was married for 50 years to, I think it was his high school sweetheart, and then a year and a half after her passing, he comes out as gay. And then John was there for him, was his biggest supporter. And then John wrote the song Tell Me Ray about Ray. And it was a great song, 3 S's in the Hollywood. Ashley Tankard, 22 years old, Durham, North Carolina, performs You Broke Me First by Tate McRae. Story about Ashley, she auditioned like 15 times for the show, but did like one of those pre-audition recording things. And after 15 tries, she was finally selected to go perform for Katie, Luke, and Lionel. Luke gave her a no. I think Luke's been the tough judge so far this season. And the other 2 gave him yeses, so Ashley went to Hollywood. Cody Winkler, 25 years old, from Marion, Texas, performing Under a Neon Halo by Bill Green, and then performed on Wound by George Strait. He was too country for American Idol, in my opinion. He obviously got 2 no's, and Lionel, amazingly enough, gave him a yes, and not Luke. Matt Wilson, 21 years old, from Buffalo, New York, For Tonight by Giveon, preschool teacher. Really, really inspiring story. Was there with his wife. He got 3 S's in the Hollywood. And in my opinion, what was the best performance of the evening of the auditioners, Caitlin Hedges, 15 years old, from Pound Ridge, New York, performing I'm Already There by Lone Star. She got 3 S's in the Hollywood. Story about her is that her father was deployed, and he did so much for her because she wanted to become more of a famous singer. And then her father surprises her at the audition, home from being deployed, and surprises the mom too. And after the girl got surprised by her father, who was hiding behind the cameramen in the audition room, Caitlin goes, "Oh, that's what Mom was hiding from me." And the judge is like, no, she doesn't know either. That was really, really funny. Obviously, Ryan knew what was going on. And then the daughter calls the mother in, and then he surprises his wife, which was a great moment in the history of American Idol, in my opinion. Next up, Aiden Adar, 19 years old from Clover, South Carolina, performing Breaking My Heart Again by Phineas, and then performing Let It Go by James Bay. Got 3 yeses in the Hollywood. Then they had Jared Yunt, 28 years old from Missouri. I don't think he got in. Michaela Stacy, 16 years old from Wichita, Kansas, performing She Used to Be Mine by Sarah Bareilles. Funny story about her is that this was the daughter of former American Idol finalist Phil Stacy, who was on season 6. And now he brings in his daughter to audition. And I thought she had some potential, but there was some spotty spots. Luke gave her a no, but the other 2 gave her a yes. Michaela Stacy's going to Hollywood. Alessandra Aguirre, 20 years old from Lima, Peru. Stefan Ben, 16 years old from Centurion, South Africa. And Jefferson, 28 years old of St. George's, Grenada. A bunch of international kids all getting into Hollywood, and they're all talented. And then another one, Nutsa, 25 years old from the country, Georgia, performing Lady Marmalade by Patti LaBelle and Greatest Love of All by Whitney Houston. She got 3 yeses in the Hollywood. They did not show who said yes and who said no to the 3 international contestants prior to Nutsa. And then they showed a girl, Madison Newses, 16 years old. Don't remember what town from Texas, though. She performed Kids in America by Kim Wilde. I don't know if she got through or not. I'm going to assume no. And then Trey Lewis closed out the show, 21 years old from Santa Fe, Texas, performing Stoned by Whiskey Myers. He was involved in, or not really involved, but a lot of people he knew were involved in a mass shooting in Santa Fe back in 2018. And there were some of his friends that were killed. So this was the school he attended, and the art room next to the art room he was in got shot up. And some of his friends and some teachers of his passed away, which is a sad story. And Katy Perry started bawling her eyes out and was saying that how our country needs to do a better job with weapons and guns and violence, which I agree. We've seen way too many school shootings and mass shootings over the past 15 years. But Trey Lewis got 3 yeses in the Hollywood. But like I said, great episode. Should be a fun one next week, too. I believe there's 3 more audition episodes before Hollywood round, but I could be wrong about that. All right, news and notes for today. So we will start with Major League Baseball. We talked about that debacle of an ending when I was going over the spring training games with the tie and the pitch clock. But good news for the Padres. They signed Manny Machado to a 11-year, $350 million extension. After Machado, it was reported that the Padres were lowballing. So also in baseball, Manny Machado used inflation to explain the decision to that he was going to opt out of the Padres contract after 2023. And then he said a deadline deal. He said they know how much San Diego means to me. Then they got it done. Brian Reynolds wants $130 million plus, as he wants an 8-year, $134 million contract, as Reynolds requested a trade after the Pirates wouldn't move from the $80 million offer. The Blue Jays hired James Click, former Astros general manager, as a vice president of baseball strategy. Now we'll do hockey. A lot of trades yesterday. The big one, Timo Meier getting traded to the New Jersey Devils from the San Jose Sharks. 2023 first, Fabian Zetterlund, and more in this package. The 2024 pick could become a first rounder as well. The Devils did not give up any big prospects, which is good. Yeah, so San Jose, 2023 first, conditional 2024 first. Shakir, Muka Mulden, Fabian Zetterlund, Andreas Johnson, Nikita Akiuk, and then Jersey gets Meyer and Scott Harrington. And then the Sharks will be taking on 50% of Meyer's contract. So, great trade for the Devils. They're going for it. Good for them. You always want to go for it when you're having an unexpectedly good season. Patrick Kane did not play on Saturday night as the Blackhawks sent him home, as they're obviously trying to get this deal with the Rangers done. The Vegas Golden Knights acquire Ivan Barbashev for a prospect. I believe it was Caleb Bean, which is a highway robbery trade for Vegas. Jack Johnson back to the Avalanche in exchange for Andreas Englund, so good trade for Colorado. And the Tampa Bay Lightning are going for it yet again as they acquire Tanner Janot from the Nashville Predators for Tampa's first in 2025, which is top 10 protected, Tampa's second in 24, and Tampa's third, fourth, and fifth in 23, and Cal Foote. I think that's an overpay. And somebody tweeted, Tanner Janot goes for about as much as Rangers are going to give up for Tarasenko and Kane combined. That's true. If you're the Rangers, just go out and get the big stars and don't give up much instead of getting role players for a lot like Tampa Bay did. Which is wild. I don't want to say role player. I think that's a great trade for Nashville. And by the way, Nashville's GM, David Poley, is retiring. And Barry Trotz is going to be the Predators general manager effective June 30th. So I think the Predators just robbed the Lightning in a trade. To the Lightning's credit, they go for it every year. They've been in the finals for 3 straight years. And they're doing what the Golden State Warriors should be doing. Keep going for it with generational talent. And the Warriors instead are hugging their young kids like how the Yankees and some of these baseball teams hug their prospects. And I know for the Warriors it ended up working out last year, but those kids did not contribute to that championship. And if the Warriors want to repeat this year, I know they got Gary Payton and everything. They got rid of Weissman, but I think they could have done more. Panthers goalie Spencer Knight will be unavailable as he receives care from the NHL and NHLPA Players Assistant Program as he is out indefinitely. Hopefully he gets well soon. Canucks acquire Vitaly Kravtsov from the Rangers for a 2026 7th-round pick and William Lockwood. Rangers just clearing cap space for Patrick Kane at this point. It's not a failure if they don't get him, but the media is going to make it out to be a failure if they don't get him. Should the Rangers get him? Yes. Because you cannot have too much scoring, and you never know. What if Chris Kreider randomly gets hurt next month? And then they don't trade for Kane. It's like, oh, you should have gotten Patrick Kane. So that's my reasoning. And it's going to be cheap to get him. Rangers defenseman Keandre Miller got ejected from a game as he spit in Kings Drew Doughty's face. Just awful. It just sums up what the Rangers were playing like for those 4 games before they finally won. I know that was out of frustration, but that was really bad by Keandre Miller. Basketball, no Jaylen Brown tonight against the Knicks. For personal reasons, Derek White is probable. LeBron was caught limping after the comeback win over the Mavs. Hopefully he'll be okay. Paul George pushed for the Russell Westbrook signing as he drove this decision. So Quinn Snyder will be the new head coach of the Atlanta Hawks. That is not surprising. He got a big deal from them to be it. He would be an upgrade over Nate McMillan, although McMillan did a nice job that first year there. So good for Snyder getting back in the league right away. After the Jazz got rid of them because they wanted to tank. The Suns are targeting Derrick Rose as they're looking for another ball handler to help Chris Paul and campaign. So that would require the Knicks buying him out. Bucks co-owner Mark Lassery agrees to sell his portion of the Bucks to Cleveland Browns owner Jimmy Haslam for $3.5 billion. So Jimmy Haslam now is a Milwaukee Bucks owner. Neko Gumake returns to the Sparks on a 1-year deal, so it's good for them. It was reported that Byron Jones was going to retire as he shared a message for the 2023 draft class after not being able to run or jump due to injuries. But the expectation is that he'll be released by the Dolphins. The Rams are likely trading Jalen Ramsey, and it would be happening in the coming weeks. 3 other teams have reached out to Derek Carr after visits with the Saints and the Jets. Quarterback needy teams want prospects. Raiders, Panthers, Colts, Texans don't want to scotch tape a veteran quarterback and prefer to go through the draft. That's crazy. Well, the Colts and the Texans make sense. Even the Panthers, in theory, make sense. But the Raiders you would think are Aaron Rodgers of the draft. The NFL number 1 overall pick could be traded, and the Bears are leaning towards trading it. They got to trade it to the Texans or, I don't want to say the Colts, but you could argue the Colts too. One of those 2 teams could overpay for it, so one of those guys could get their quarterback. Could get Bryce Young or C.J. Stroud or whomever, and the Bears could trade down and get Jalen Carter or Will Anderson. Russell Wilson denies the Pete Carroll rumors. He tweets that he never wanted Carroll or John Schneider to be fired despite the Athletic report. Richardson, number 1, odds shift as he went from 50-1 to plus 750 in 1 week. First defensive player taken favorite is Jalen Carter plus 110. Will Anderson after that is plus 135. No combine workout for Jalen Carter, as he'll work out at Georgia's Pro Day on March 15th, and will still interview at the combine. Jake Paul, Tommy Fury happened yesterday as Tommy Fury handed Jake Paul his first loss after winning by split decision. So that was a good fight. And Lewandowski is out of El Clasico as he'll miss Thursday's Copa del Rey semifinal first leg. So that's a big loss for Barca. And then breaking news from Shams, the NBA and the Players Association are progressing in talks on reaching a new collective bargaining agreement. That is wonderful news for the NBA. They need to get that done. We don't want any lockouts. Rob Manfred in baseball will still continue to look bad because they always had to delay things, and last year there was a small lockout. No, we literally I don't really remember there being spring training last year. Maybe there are some games, but there wasn't a big spring training last year. Now this year we get a full spring training. But good on Adam Silver and the NBA. All right, next best bet of the day brought to you by FanDuel. There's a couple I like. There's one that jumped out to me in hockey. It was an over. There's a couple overs that stood out, but one more than the rest. And that was over 6.5 in the Bruins-Oilers game. I'm going to lay a half unit on it. That's how good I feel about this over. And at this point, I really just want to be on the plus side of units for best bet for the month. So over 6.5 minus 114 in Bruins Oilers. That's just easy money. All right, that's it for the show. I'll be back tomorrow recapping everything. We'll get into everything tomorrow, and then also news and notes and best bet too. Hope you guys have a great day, everyone.